Hi everyone. Hi, welcome to Melissa's Tabletop Talk, episode 4. Yeah, hopefully everyone can hear me and see me a little bit better. So I've finally tried to figure out where's the best place to place my phone right now. So hi again, welcome to Melissa's Tabletop Talk. It used to be on Thursdays, but now we're going to move it to every Tuesday. And on Thursday, Ed will take over to talk about his music and he will be performing. So just like last week, as I've mentioned, if you're a musician and you're interested to get an interview, showcase your original music, do come and join us. Drop us a note at sourceinc.com. You can email us at marketing@sourceinc.com and tell us more about yourself, and so that we can also invite you on board to come on live with us. After all, what's so interesting is about life is that, well, it's life. So as I was mentioning in my episode today, we're going to talk about, do you think you're ready for a startup, to start up your own business? One thing for sure, I was watching Channel News Asia the other day, and there was this man who was being interviewed and he was retrenched 3 times. So he said that, after being retrenched 3 times, he finally decided that he needs to be in the driver's seat, which is exactly why a lot of entrepreneurs have started up, because they are just sick and tired of going the safe route by joining a corporation or being a corporate, and they decided to start up their own business. My story is a little bit similar to that, in a sense that I wanted to be my own driver. I wanted to drive my own future, set my own goals. I didn't want to be in the rat race in that sense. So that is why I started my own business. So there are a few things after joining and becoming an entrepreneur, getting to know a lot more people who are entrepreneurs and started out. There are a lot of things that we realize that, hey, yes, we've read a lot of articles, we've read a lot of things, and there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there who are telling you, what you need to do, what you need to start up. So I'm just summarizing it here. Hopefully I can say as much as I can within this half an hour, and it also depends on what questions you have about entrepreneurship, especially starting up in Singapore. But just like during our networking session last Wednesday, as I've mentioned to all the entrepreneurs who were there, is that when you're starting out your own business, the cheapest thing is to just register your business. That is the cheapest thing. So immediately you need to know that when you're starting out a business, money is key. Do you have enough money not only to survive, but to run your business? It is not going to be cheap to run your own business. And why is that so? Because don't forget, you have to create your own website. You have to then market your website. A lot of people think that, oh, I don't need to spend that much money on marketing. But if you look at a lot of the companies and startups nowadays, a lot of money that they're spending on marketing. And when I'm saying marketing, it's not just in your traditional advertisements or Facebook ads or Google search ads. They are spending on that too. I'm also talking about giving away freemiums. How much are you willing to give away? And there are a lot of other strategies. For example, James, our mentor, he has written a book, an ebook as well. So there's a lot of time spent taking into writing the book. And after writing the book, there's, again, money that you need to spend on publishing the book, getting a designer to design the book cover for you. So these are all things that you need to think about. So again, back to the main question, do you think you're ready to start up? Besides wondering and thinking about the financials, ask yourself this fundamental question as to why do you have to start up? Why do you have to start up your own business rather than join a startup? If you are looking to be your own driver in your own future, is it just because you feel confined if you are in a big MNC or in a big company? If that's the case, then you don't necessarily have to start up your own business. You could join a small business and still have that energy, and you are still, doing and giving a lot of input into the business and driving that business in that sense. So in that way, you are also driving your own future. But if you have a really great, fantastic idea, you are solving a problem, you are providing a solution that nobody else has provided, or you are doing it better than other people out there, and you really have your vision, you've got everything planned out, then I would say that yes, you are probably halfway there. Another thing that you need to really be realistic about is, do you have business partners? I've started a previous couple of businesses before and they failed. Why did they fail? Reason was I did not have anybody else helping me. It was just me, myself, and I. If you're in that situation of being a solopreneur, it's not that you can't do it. There are solopreneurs out there who have been successful. But what is important is that if you're a solopreneur, you need to make sure that you've got all your bases covered. And that's where marketing is very, very important. And that is also why I've kept mentioning it before. Source Inc., we've got all these people in mind. We've got SMEs, we've got entrepreneurs in mind when we built the platform as well. Because we know that it is so difficult for solopreneurs or small companies to reach out. How can you compete with big companies who have a marketing budget of $1 million? You can't. You simply can't. So that is why for Source Inc., if you create a source site with us, already the source site is much cheaper than spending $3,000 to $5,000 with a company that only builds websites. With us, you build your website, you get your e-commerce capabilities, and you get to market to our community, because whenever you make an update via Source Inc. or your source site, it automatically gets fed to our community, and that's how we help your content to be out there in the market. So again, I'm not trying to promote too much, but what I'm trying to say is that, you know, when you have all these in mind and you are really sure that you want to start your own business, then it's the tools that are very, very important. There are so many tools out there right now, and what is more important is that everybody in this digital age say that, oh, the first thing they think is, I need a great website. Yes, it's very important that you have a great website. But I was talking to a potential client earlier this evening, and I was trying to pitch to him, create a website through us, because we've created a wonderful website for another business acquaintance of ours, and it's exactly like what this potential client is looking for. And when the potential client heard my pitch, his immediate question was, yeah, great. So what if I have a great looking website? What if there's nobody looking at my website? It's useless. And again, I've said this so many times, it's true. If you've got a great looking website, so what? Nobody's going to see it if you don't market it, if you don't spend anything marketing on it, or if you don't know the right tools. So you see, you either have Osman has a few question marks. Hi Osman, I'm talking about the topic of, do you think you are ready to start up your own business? So I was talking about how when people start up, they immediately think about creating their own websites, but they don't realize that creating a website alone is not enough. You have to market your website, you have to market your business, and you need the right tools, especially if you're starting out, because money is going to be very, very important. It's not like you have $1 million of marketing budget, unlike the big companies out there already. So that is what I meant. I hope I clarified your questions. And I was just saying about Source Inc., which is my business, which I created. My business partner created. And we've got 2 business partners together with us. So that's my next point. When you are going to start up, do you have partners along with you? Because solopreneurs, it's a very, very tough journey. Being an entrepreneur itself, it's a very tough journey. And then if you're doing it all alone, it's even more lonely, and I would say it's even tougher, because you are going to be your own cheerleader, you are going to be the salesman, you're going to be the marketer, you're going to be the customer service, you're going to be the webmaster. Sure, there are certain things that you can outsource, but I'm just saying that it's not easy to do it all alone. If you have partners, great, because they're going to help you on this journey. They have different skill sets, and you can leverage off each other for the different skill sets. So again, it's very similar to what our mentor and business partner James, you can check him out on James Wee. He goes on live every day at 6 p.m. Singapore time, and he talks about, you know, marketing and selling. So again, I'm also talking a little bit about that, in that aspect about more personal branding. Plus, do you think are you ready to start up? So I want to hear some feedback from you guys, like do you have any ideas, or why are you even thinking about starting up? So right from the beginning, when I was talking about why do you want to even start up, that's a very, very fundamental question. Why do you want to start up a business? A lot of people I know have brilliant business ideas, but they are not ready to start up, and they know for a fact that they're not going to start up ever, probably ever. And the reason is that they're just too comfortable. They cannot let go of that safety blanket, which is called their stable job, which gives them a steady income every month. So again, there are a lot of priorities in life as well, because I do understand there are some people who are not ready because they've got young children and they're probably going to put it off starting up their own business, or they are just prefer to be an investor. So again, why are you thinking of starting up? There are a lot of different reasons for people to start up, but the most important thing is, first of all, you need to make sure that you are financially able to sustain at least 1 to 2 years for your business. And yeah, if you're a solopreneur, all the more you probably need to save more money, because you're just going to be relying on yourself. And another thing that you probably wouldn't have think about is to talk to your friends and family about it. It took me 1 year before I finally decided to take the plunge and quit my job, my corporate job, to start up. And that was because I was talking to a lot of people, getting feedback, trying to find out, you know, is this the best decision? Is this the best business idea that I have? And another thing that after going through a few of these I do not know what you call them, networking sessions or stuff like that. Another thing is that, have you tested your idea? That is very, very fundamental, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't test their ideas. They think that their ideas are really brilliant, and they speak to a couple of friends and their friends think it's brilliant too. That is not a good gauge of whether how great your business idea is. You need to go and talk to your potential clients and find out really whether, you know, what their pain points are, and therefore is your business solving that solution. You will find out after a while, after talking to all of them, that maybe you do need to tweak your solution. Maybe your business model needs to tweak a little bit. So this is something that and when you're an entrepreneur, you must know that your highs are very high, your lows are very, very low. Meaning that you get very, very happy when you've closed a deal, sign a partnership, etc. But when you hit bottom, it's really, really low. So you are always on this emotional roller coaster. So again, you have to ask yourself, if you are going to start up your own business, are you ready for that kind of emotional roller coaster? It's crazy, I can tell you. I've known so many entrepreneurs right now in my 1 year of getting to know all these networking people, going for all the events. Yes, and another thing, are you ready to go for all the networking events? When you first start up, even before you start up, you have to go for all these networking sessions. Are you a sociable person? If you're not a sociable person, then please ensure that your business can run solely online and you don't have to get out there to get businesses. You don't have to go out there for clients, and you've got a kick-ass marketing team who will go out there to help you market, and yeah, everything's done online. But I've spoken to so many entrepreneurs of different industries, and no matter how online their businesses are, the CEOs, the founders themselves are still going out to all these networking events. They're still getting to know people. They are still trying, and the reason is because right now in this age, you cannot survive alone. A lot of businesses have to go into partnerships with each other. There are a lot of strategic partnerships. There's a lot of win-win situations out there that we're always negotiating with each other. So if you are not a sociable person, again, you need to think about it. Maybe you need a partner who then can take on that sociable role, which is why in Sauce Inc., it's perfect. There are 4 of us. We've got one sales director who's helping us to just do sales, and he's talking about our business to all his business acquaintances. And then of course there is our CEO Sabrina, who is doing she's also our CTO. That's why she's doing all the IT stuff. Then there is Ed and myself, who are taking care more of like the marketing plus the operations, and we are doing all of this because we want to share with you guys, let you know more a little bit about ourselves, our journey, as well as possible solutions. Because when we came up with all our different solutions, we had entrepreneurs and small businesses in mind. As I mentioned SourceSight before, and of course, you know, feel free to just join us in our community. We are growing communities right now, and we want entrepreneurs to join in. If you go to my blog, which is sourceinc.com/melfann, MELFANN, you will see that there is I've added the Sauce Inc. groups there. So once you're a member, you can immediately join in the entrepreneur groups. We want to build all these communities because we know that there is a need for us to connect more, be it online or offline, which is why every month we are also doing networking sessions with entrepreneurs, because it's always about sharing. So again, I see that there are a few more people online. Hi, we call our community members sources. So hi sources. If you have any questions about entrepreneurship, or you know, whichever part of the journey you are at right now, do feel free to ask me questions. I can share my experience, and I'm definitely going to share some more experience from people who have given me advice. So another thing that is very, very crucial, I find, that when you are starting on your entrepreneurship journey, is to get a good mentor. I have to say that I'm very, very thankful that I've got a few mentors that I can call on. It's important to have mentors because these people obviously have more experience than you. They have gone through whatever you have gone through. They are able to then better advise you, so that your highs are still high, but your lows are not like crash and boom, you know. So get mentors that you trust. Not necessarily just one mentor. A few mentors is always more than welcome. And how do you choose your mentors then? That's where networking is again very, very important. That's where, and I'm talking about not just networking, going for networking sessions, but based on your experience. Because, for example, I do call my ex-bosses my mentors, because even right now I still can call them up, ask them about advice, especially when it comes to financials. I'm a bit weak in that area, in the sense that I wouldn't say weak, but not so confident. So in order to boost my confidence, to make sure that I'm doing things in the right way, and I don't want to second guess myself, I just pick up the phone, call my ex-boss and ask him for advice. We also have another mentor, as I've mentioned, James, who's got a lot of experience in sales. So we also rely on him to give us, like, you know, what's the best way to sell, to pitch, and to talk to people, potential clients as well as, you know, what are the art of persuasion. As you know, that's what he's great at, you know, he loves to sell. So he teaches us like how to persuade people, how to close that deal. So again, get mentors whom you trust, get mentors who will be able to push you. It's a bit like a personal coach, because you need people to see where your blind spots are. That's why they're called blind spots. So again, are you ready to find these people out there? And I always say that don't rush into it. Find all these people first, bolster, make sure that you've got things lined up right first before you go out and start your business. Hi Felicia, thanks for joining us. Felicia, I know for a fact, has gone through an entrepreneurship course, and through that she then realized that, she was telling me previously that she realized that being an entrepreneur is really, really difficult. There are a lot of things that you didn't know that you needed to do before you started your business. A lot of people think that starting a business is as simple as, oh, I'll just register it on Acra and then I will get my supplier, and then I will just try some way to market and get clients in. And it's all a matter about selling, and getting a profit about that. In a way, yes, in the most simplistic sense, yes, that's what business is all about. But when you are talking about starting up your own business and being an entrepreneur, as I've mentioned before, it's a lot more than that. You need to make strategic partnerships. You need to be your own personal brand. You need to brand then your company. And this digital age, there's so much noise going out there. There's so many channels as well. So how do you get yourself heard? Another business partner of ours is Janisha Alora. She also goes live every day or almost every day, and she also talks about this. And she has actually moved her Janisha Alora Beauty, over to Sauce site because exactly the same things that we are talking about, which is trying to get having a beautiful website alone is not enough in this day and age. It's about marketing, it's about social media, digital marketing, it's about branding, it's about putting yourself out there. If you don't put yourself out there, then how do you go again, putting your brand out there? It's a lot about networking. Who do you know in the business? Who is able to help you out or give you good advice? So that's why for SauceSite, we know that for Sauce Inc., we've created SauceSite because we are trying to help bridge that by first, allowing you to create Sauce sites, which, as I said, for updates on articles or your blog, it goes out to our social community. You can then join our community, start talking to each other because then we have the support system over there. And we create content out there as well. We interview entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs, because we find that women, there's this stereotype of women that, we compete in a very bitchy catfight manner and we backstab each other. But that's not true. We actually believe in women empowering each other. And I think more and more women are stepping out of that stereotype and showing the world that we are actually, sisters helping each other. And that's what we at Sauce Inc. also believes in, and we hope to inspire people as well. Not as in me personally inspiring you, although I hope that happens in a way, but we also look for people that we admire who inspires us as well. And so we also interview them so that their stories will help inspire you. And then when you are ready to embark on your entrepreneurial journey, you have all this knowledge as well. So a lot of people go through different things as an entrepreneur. We've interviewed so many entrepreneurs and we ask them the same questions, like what inspires them, why did they decided to start out. The stories always vary, as into when is that starting point, but there is always a lot of common things or characters between all the female entrepreneurs, which is that they are tenacious. They believe in themselves and they work hard for it. Some of them look really, really glamorous, but behind that glamour, it's a lot of hard work. All of them are very, very hardworking. All of them are very, very driven. A lot of them are very self-motivated. So, like I'm wearing a My Angé t-shirt. Hi, Angelina. I saw her come online. So yeah, she's a designer as well, a local designer, and she started out her own business because she really felt that she wanted to create something that is not out in the market. She also did her testing, which I've mentioned before. You need to go out and test your idea. So she did that as well, which is what Sauce Inc. did too, because we found that, hey, when we created this platform, or when Seb created this platform, there was nothing that's really similar in Singapore or in Asia. How many Asian digital magazines can say that, when you flip through and you see something and you can click on it and purchase the dress immediately? Very few of them can do that. So you see, again, you need to question yourself, test your ideas before you really go out and quit your job and go out and start up. So Any questions from you guys out there before I continue talking? Okay, so Angelina actually privately messaged me. She says that this is a great thing that I'm doing. Thank you so much, Angelina. Thank you. We try to support each other as entrepreneurs. We also try to support brands. We know that is not easy. Okay, so EG is asking, how is Sauce Inc. trying to bring ourselves to the front of Singapore's digital space? That's a very good question. We are definitely marketing ourselves. That's why we're doing live videos. But of course, we are not doing the hard selling because we don't believe in hard sell. We believe in giving value to our customers and our clients. We are also making a lot of strategic partnerships with other people who you might think are our competitors, but we actually don't see them as our competitors. We have also worked with big brands, so we have partnerships like with Shopbop and Zalora, and we also work with certain festivals and events. So that's how we try to bring like digital to like in person and vice versa. And we are also as I said, we are interviewing a lot of people, and we do this all digitally. We push out a lot of content. We've got our social community, so we are always interacting with other people online, and we're trying to help them like this, try to get in touch with you. We believe in like digital plus offline and then back to digital in that sense. So we often do, every month, as I said, we do one networking event, and every month we also do another seminar. So this is a way of bringing the communities together. We want to talk to fellow people, find out more about you, find out how we can improve on the digital front as well, because in this digital age, that's why we set up the community portion of Sauce Inc., because we know that in this digital age we're also busy. It's very difficult to connect with each other all the time through face-to-face. And now with video is great. Now you can see me face to face in that sense. But of course, we're trying to be personal, and that's where the community portion for Sauce Inc. comes in. But that being said, we are still known for the content, which is why we often come up with style guides. That's why we often interview people. We are still churning out interesting content. And the great thing is that because now we are growing our community, and some of our community members themselves are creating great articles. So when we find like a great article that they've submitted to us, we will publish it online as well on our homepage, so that people get to know our community members as well. They get their voices heard. And I think that's overall great, because we curate in that sense, and we are always looking for great ideas, great articles, great content, great conversations. I think a lot of this digital marketer was talking to me, and he said, content, everybody's going, content is king, content is king, content is king. But he feels that content is more queen, because it's conversations. No matter what, when it comes to the digital space, it's about humans making a human connection with each other. We still want to connect with each other, which is why social media is called social media. We want to be social. We want to talk to each other. We want to listen in that sense. And yeah, that's why Sauce Inc. has that community portion. We want to be able to connect with you. We want you to talk back to us as well, talk to your friends, share ideas. Yeah, and I think in that sense, we are growing the community. We are growing mini communities within our big community as well. And then we'll have fun offline, during our monthly networking session. I think the next one, if I'm not wrong, is on the it's happening on the 27th of July at Coffee Now here at West Coast. Details will be out soon, so you can join us offline as well, so that we can have that offline conversation. But of course, if you are really busy or you can't make it, then there's this online way of connecting with us, either through Facebook, or of course we prefer through Sauce Inc., because then we can do a lot more interactions over there. You can write articles if you really like to write. We've got a lot more things planned, which is going to be fun. Hopefully, yeah. Did I answer? I hope I answered your questions, Iti. I know I'm like talking in a very long-winded way, but when it comes to digital is really huge. There are a lot of things that encompasses digital, and that's why we are coming up with community. Okay, great that I answered it. Yeah. So yeah, digital is so huge. Digital and social media is so huge. And that's why we are trying to, we're not adding to it in that sense. We're just trying to complement it. We're just creating our own little niche. We are always evolving, and we need people to join us to help us evolve it, because we want to build a platform that you love. And we also want to create a space that is both conducive for both as a consumer as well as brands, because a lot of brands now, it's a consumer age. We vote by the way we pay, and a lot of brands are stuck in the, I do not know what age you want to call it, where they know that, yes, I need to do digital marketing, but their idea of digital marketing is buy, and right? And that's not what we are all about. We are trying to tell people and brands that there is a new way to market, which is through value proposition. It is about conversations, having honest conversations with your end consumer, and it's also about consumers giving feedback directly to the brands and interacting with them. So hi Jacqueline for joining us. Yeah, if you have any questions about starting up your own business, do feel free to pop in a question. I will have to repeat myself a little bit because that's the nature of a live video. We've got people who join in halfway through, and then they didn't hear the first part. So as I've mentioned, the topic of today is, do you think you're ready to start up? And there are a lot of questions, a lot of things that you need to think about before you start up your own business. The most basic fundamental is why. Why do you want to start up? If it's for a very plain, simple reason that, oh, I just want to be my own boss, sad to say that is not strong enough, because you can easily do other things to drive your own future. And another thing, but then again, it's very important as to why you're coming on this entrepreneur journey. As I've shared in the earlier part of this video, I was watching Channel News Asia the other day, and they interviewed this man who was retrenched 3 times. And it was because he was retrenched 3 times that he realized that the most certain thing nowadays is uncertainty. There is no such thing as job security. So he wanted to be in the driver's seat of his own income, financial security in that sense. So which is why he decided to then explore not starting out a business, but maybe starting out with a startup. Or, there are ways that he could be in the driver's seat rather than follow and just be a join the corporate rat race in that sense. So for my personal journey as to why I decided to start up, it's an accumulation of a lot of things, but I've always wanted to be my own boss for a very, very long time. I've always wanted to be creative, and I've always wanted to, when I've got this idea, I just wanted to do it, test it, and find out whether will it work. Because I was just sick and tired of being in a corporate world, because when you're in a corporate world, you definitely have to work from like 9 to a certain time. Like, I always find that it's very interesting in Asian culture that they care so much about what time you enter the office, but they don't see the time that you leave the office. So to me, it was more of like, I wanted a bit of not so much work-life balance, but more of what makes me, I want to do something that made me happy, and be the driver of my own destiny in that sense. But of course, we need to be practical people. So before I went on my become an entrepreneur, I did save up for a year, or two to make sure that I have enough money to last me for 1 year. As I've shared earlier on as well, I decided to go for a lot of networking events to get to know fellow entrepreneurs first, because I was looking for mentors. Although some of my ex-bosses are now my mentors, but it was important to find somebody who was a lot more experienced. When I say experience, it doesn't mean age. It has to mean experience in starting up their own business. Because there are a lot of people who are probably my age or even younger who have started more businesses and even successfully closed or exited than I have. And I see them as a mentor in that sense as well. If you need a coach, so be it. Mentors are a little bit like coach as well. So look for advisors. And the worst case scenario is that through all these networking sessions, if you don't find a mentor, you'll find friends. Friends who will be there to support you, friends who will be able to share their experience, which may be similar to yours depending on which stage they are at on the business, and they can actually be advisors in that sense. So as I've mentioned, we are very lucky at Sourcing to have James as our mentor. You can check him out at jameswee.com, and he's one of our mentors. So he goes on live every day at 6 p.m. to talk about sales and the art of persuasion. And again, he was the one who also taught us that when you are closing a deal, when you're pitching, it's all about value proposition. Nowadays, it's no longer about, buy it, it's cheap, 30% off. It may work to a certain extent, but the reason why it hooks you in is because you really see value in that product or that service, which is why you are, oh, it's on sale, perfect, I'm going to buy it. But when it comes to marketing, it's a different ballgame altogether in this day and age, which is why, again, you need to understand where you are as a marketer. If you really have no marketing background, then you probably need to either hire someone who does, or you need to find a partner who has marketing background. So again, it's the same things when I'm talking to all my other fellow entrepreneur friends. They may not know a lot about marketing. They know how to run the business. They know how to run the figures. They know how to get the product out right perfect, but they know that I can't handle everything. So that's when they hire people. And then again, of course, when you hire people, are you able to afford it? And you need to do your numbers properly. So it helps that for me, I've got a mother who's an accountant, so I do run the figures through her sometimes, like, oh, does this look right? But then of course, and yeah, in proper bookkeeping, you want to make sure that your accounts are clean. But again, these are all the little nitty-gritty details. The most important thing is, why do you want to start up? Are you able to financially support yourself through this startup journey? Give yourself a timeline. I always find that it's just like trading. You need to give yourself that bottom line as to when you're going to say, I quit, because this is not working out for whatever reason. And to have an exit plan in that sense. So even if the business is successful, we also in the entrepreneurial world, we also say, what's the exit plan? And the exit plan is for our investors, or even for ourselves when it grows to a certain size. Are we going to sell out in the sense that we're going to sell the whole company to a bigger one and then we just cash out, or do we intend to IPO? So again, you need to think of all these things. Basically, are you good at strategy? Because if you are not the kind who is very good at strategy, if you're not very good at big picture, drilling down the small picture, then maybe you're not quite ready yet. Maybe you do need to work in another company, maybe a smaller company where you have to handle more things, and that's where you learn. So I can safely say that my first business failed was because I was just too naive. I was thinking that, hey, I've got marketing experience, I can definitely market this thing, Unfortunately, I didn't know that there were a lot more things to run a business. As I said, you need to know your financials, you need to know how to network with people, you need advisors, you need mentors, you need to know how to strategize everything. Having marketing skills alone is not enough. But of course, marketing is very, very key, as I've mentioned to before. Marketing is very, very key. Even our sales director has told us that marketing is very, very key. And there are a lot of businesses out there who are willing to spend $1 in order to get $1 sales back, which means they're just breaking even. And that's for the first year, because they're just building their brand, they're just having brand awareness, you know, just basically just willing to throw money out there to get their brands heard. And can you sustain that? Maybe not. Not for a small business, not for a startup, when you're really, really just starting out. And another thing that you need to think about when you're starting out is, yeah, which route are you going to go? Are you intending to be just an SME, or are you chasing that unicorn dream? You know, or do you want to be like the next Uber, Grab, or what other tech startups are there? Yeah, think about it. Your again, strategy. So you see, when you start up your business, you need to either form a team where everybody is strategizing together with you. And if you call yourself the founder as well as a CEO, you really, really need to have the vision. You really, really need to know the strategy, and your team needs to be supportive. It's very, very important to have a very supportive team, and that, you know, you're leverage off each other as well. And yeah, so these are the questions that you really need to ask yourself. They are not easy to answer, and it will take a lot of time. And all I can say is that think about it. Really take the time while you are still working full-time to test out your ideas. A lot of young people, recently I just went for this youth entrepreneurship symposium where I was a judge, and you know, I can safely say that there are a lot of brilliant people out there, brilliant minds who come up with brilliant ideas. But during the judging session, it was very, very interesting because I was asking them a lot of questions which, yeah, they didn't think about. For example, like where did they come up with all these figures from? Why did they check out their competitors? Did they do their financials properly? Are they sure that this product is even wanted by consumers? Why do they think consumers want it just because, you know, the four of them think it's a brilliant idea? Has it been tested out in there in the market? So it was good for me because it was just a revision of all the things that I asked myself before I started out. Started my own business and started out with Source Inc. as well. So these are a lot of things that you need to ask yourself. Yeah, a lot of questions. And I can safely tell you another thing. This is more on the emotional side. As I've mentioned before, as an entrepreneur, your highs are really high, your lows are really, really low. And you need emotional support. Do you have people around you, be it family or friends, who understand you and understand what you're going through? I think family support is really, really a lot more important, because you are, when I say family, it's the family that you're living with, because they are the ones who will give you the moral and emotional support when you're at your lows. You will need someone to be your sounding board as well, you know, to talk through your problems and share your highs as well as your lows. And not a lot of people are going to understand that, because the entrepreneurial journey is not an easy one, as I've mentioned before. So these are things that you really, really need to think through before you even start on your journey. Yeah. So are there any more questions? Yeah, I can't believe it. I've actually spoke for more than half an hour. Yeah, usually my tabletop talks are about half an hour. But today it seems like we've got a lot more people and I've got questions. So I like questions. I love answering questions. So if you have any questions, please ask. And I can sippy. So I'll wait for questions to come in. As I've mentioned, Melissa's Tabletop Talk now is going to be on every Tuesday at 8:30 Singapore time. And hi Christabel, thanks for joining. Yes, nice to see you. So Christabel, yeah, I'm just asking for questions. I'm asking for questions. Yeah, so if you have any questions about being an entrepreneur, what do you need to know? Is there anything that I didn't cover? Or if you want to know specific questions or answers, or hi Saddam, I'm good. How are you? Do you have any questions about, are you on your entrepreneurial journey? Do you have any questions about what it is like to start up, especially in Singapore? So, okay, talking about why am I saying specifically starting up in Singapore? Because I have spoken to a bunch of entrepreneurs who are friends, and they are non-Singaporeans. So the great thing that they love about starting up in Singapore, and in some ways it's coincidental, they decided to start up in Singapore because their families are already here, and it was in Singapore where they discovered that, you know, hey, I'm just going to quit my corporate job and I'm going to become an entrepreneur. But they have all found that Singapore is a great place for them to start a business because it's just easy. The process is just easy. Like one of them also, she's a lawyer, and for her it's great because she's based in Singapore, and her job as a lawyer is that she's advising businesses who are thinking of moving over to Singapore. So she has that experience about what's the law like in Singapore, and she can easily advise people who are moving into Singapore. It means they are expanding overseas into Singapore. So they say that, you know, it's a breeze for them, and that's why I'm saying that is you know, as Singaporean, I'm just really very thankful to our government that they are really supportive of startups. But that being said, of course, being a startup is still not easy. Regardless whichever country you are at, it's just that we are lucky in a sense that registering for a business is easy. We can go online and do it immediately. It's a lot easier when it comes to, like, say for example, if you want to change your name, you want to add in a director, it's easy for you to do that, everything online. And of course, you know, if you're in your first year of business, it's tax-free. So again, it's really quite easy and conducive. And if you're thinking of expanding your business overseas, Singapore's a great place to have your HQ because, you know, our reputation is that we're safe, and yeah, our banks are also linked to overseas banks, so it's easy to transact overseas as well. In fact, I can't remember which company it was. They used to be based in the UK, but because UK changed some laws for companies and startups, they have decided to actually change their registration of the company to Singapore. Doesn't mean that they are not having an office or keeping their office in the UK. They still are. It's just that they decided to move their main business to open up an office in Singapore and call it the HQ because of the international way of doing business nowadays. You know, Singapore is just a lot more conducive for them. So again, if you are thinking of starting up, I'm sure most of you are Singaporeans, but I'm just saying that we are so lucky. And if you're a foreigner and you're thinking of starting up, Singapore is also a great place to start up because it's just easy and everything is safe. Yeah. So what other questions do we have? Okay, I've spoken for almost an hour. Tune in next week for more tabletop talk. And on Thursday, we have Ed, who is our CMO, and he's also a musician, as I've introduced to you guys on last Thursday. So he will be belting up some tunes. You can start thinking of all your song requests right now and just send it over to him on live on Thursday, 8:30 as well. If you're a musician or you know musician friends, please tell them, because we are looking for people to jam together with Ed or to also just showcase their original pieces. We know there are not a lot of places for local musicians to get their voices heard. So again, if you want to get interviewed by us, drop us a note at editorial@sourceinc.com. so that we can vet through, know a little bit more about you. And yeah, as I've said, Source Inc. is not just for brands as well, it's also for you as the consumer. So if you're a musician, you can start up your profile, you can blog about your music, post your music on your Source site, what we call a Source site, and it will also be pushed out to our community members automatically. And yeah, get your stuff be heard. And that is important for musicians, so that's the musician portion. But of course, if you're an artist, you can also, you know, put up your art, and then as I've said, anything that you've updated on your Source site will also be updated to our community members. So again, if you're ready to start up, we're always very interested to know new startups. We are always, as I said, monthly networking sessions. The upcoming one is on the 27th of July at Coffee Now here at West Coast Plaza. Details will be out on our website soon. So we'll see you next week. Okay, bye.